Hi, everyone. We are just giving time to people to connect, to join. And as you are joining, please note today event will be broadcast in French and in English through live interpretation. Yes, and to activate translation, please look to the bottom of your screen and click on the button that says interpretation and select the language of your preference in either English or French. Comment le cas est bien sorti. Mais maintenant, sur le cas du PV, voilà, on a effectivement en excès ou bien inverse. Le report. Bonjour à tout le monde, bienvenue à ce webinaire.
Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar. We are just waiting a few minutes for everyone to join us. But if you are here, feel free. This webinar is going to be in French and in English. And to have the bottom of your screen and click on the button that says interpretation, and then there you can select the language of your preference, English or French. So maybe you can already write on the chat to tell us where you are connecting from. Is going to really be nice to know where you are connecting from. Just a little message on the chat, or maybe from Uganda, Tanzania. Just a little word to know that we are together. Okay, Abubakar Munkaila, welcome. Okay, Dunya Jackson, welcome to all. Welcome to Lukman in Ghana and the whole team in Ghana. I can see people from Niger, from Zambia, from Uganda, from Nigeria, Dr. Rhoda, Titilayo, bonjour, hi, and our friends from Côte d'Ivoire that are already connected. Welcome to you. We are now going to give an extra minute and then we are going to start just for everyone to join us. Oh, welcome Jackson from DRC from the city of Goma. Welcome.
Ok, je pense que
Okay, so I think that we have waited 1 minute and now we can start the webinar again. Welcome from FRI to this webinar called Voices. I am really happy to have broadcasters, men and women with who we can share ideas. And today, this morning, or this afternoon, depending where you are from, I am Martin Mogem from the um, uh, um, project development department at FRI, and this webinar today is going to be in 2 languages. Like I said at the beginning, it's going to be in English and in French with the simultaneous interpretation. And as a reminder, to activate interpretation, you need to look at the bottom of your screen. You can click on the button called interpretation and select your language of preference in English or French, and you will be able to follow the webinar in the language that you prefer. This event is going to take around I think we have a little bit of a network issue. So 1 hour and 30 minutes. And during this time, we will have 25 minutes for questions at the end. And you are all welcome to submit your questions in the Q&A box or in the um, chat, and all the panelists will be able to answer. And there is not only the Q&A box, but you also can use the chat box at the right of your screen and to send your questions during the webinar. We also have to say that this webinar is being recorded, so you will be able to find this webinar in all different channels on social media, Facebook, Farm Radio / Farm Radio, where you can also connect yourself. And now I am going to change a language so that I can present the next person that is going to intervene.
Now, I would like to introduce here Doug Watt, who worked at the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation for 30 years as a radio producer, station manager, and was the head of the Northern Service and vice president for the regions. And he also was the chair of the Farm Radio International Board of Directors for 20 years. So he's somebody so dear to us as Farm Radio International. And I'm going to hand over to Doug now for a welcome word for all those who are here. Hi, Doug.
Hi, Martine. Thank you for your invitation. I'm just so excited to be back with my Farm Radio family. I haven't been on the board for a couple of years, and I've had withdrawal symptoms, I'm sure. It's interesting to talk about where the voices came from. We listened to a lot of different radio programs at the beginning when Farm Radio got going, and there were many of them, but it was hard to decide which ones provided value to rural citizens. And we wanted to have a memorable short list of the qualities that should be in every farm radio, every program produced by rural broadcasters. And we were able to get it down to 5 essential qualities back in the day, 20 years ago. And as the years went on, we realized that it's not only an important list for the person who's producing a program, but when in your radio station you are evaluating programs, it's a very good list to have to see whether the people who are producing the programs are serving their listeners. The voice standards, I'm glad to say, caught on and have been used over many radio stations, many countries. But programming has evolved over those years. And in fact, we found that the 5 essential qualities are now 6 essential qualities. And Sylvie is going to introduce them to you. So I think it's over to either Martine or to Sylvie.
Thank you so much, Doug. Thank you so much. People are actually asking themselves the question, why voices and lexicon? Why voices and lexicon? They're actually wondering. Last time we had a webinar, it was related to World Radio Days. I'm sure some of you here connected to this webinar now were there. And now you're asking yourself, why voices and lexicon? And to answer that question, I'm going to invite now Sylvie Harrison, who is the managing specialist of the Radiocraft team at Farm Radio International, who will present the tool we are talking about today. Over to you, Sylvie.
Merci beaucoup. Thanks a lot. I hope you all hear me well. I'm sure that for many of you, voice is something, these are standards you all are acquainted with. So as Doug mentioned it, we have an evolution we have been observing, and we have adjusted these standards to reflect better the work we are doing as part of our work at FRI. So, and also for the radio stations who are working for development. So I'm going to share with you, but before that, I will give you some reminder regarding what we used to know with the voice standard. As you remember, the letter V is about valuing our rural African listeners, including women, men, youth, and children. And after that, we have a letter O. With this letter, we try to give opportunity to rural Africans to speak and to be heard, individually speaking and in group, on matters that are of great importance to them. The following letter is the letter I. With this letter, what we want to do with this standard is to provide rural Africans with information, but this information should be coming from the best sources, and these sources include the farmers, experts, and many other people who got the appropriate information so that the listeners will need to apply for a better production in their fields. And this information will be available at the time of the year they need them most. Then we have the letter C. This means that our programs are convenient and consistent. These programs are had at a regular space so that they can be available regularly and reliably speaking. So people could listen to this program when they are available. And the former voice standards, we have a letter E. With this, our programs are engaging because we try to produce programs which present personalities, format, contents, and features which are fresh, entertaining, and remember, and also are enjoyable for those who are listening to these programs. These used to be the norm of the standard voices we used in the past. But as Doug mentioned it, since we are progressing, evolving in our activities, we thought it will be needed for us to do some adjustment. This is why we decided to add the letter S. So now from the standard, the voice standard, as we used to know it, we have now the voices standard. In this regard, the last letter we added to this standard is to make sure that our programs are supporting rural Africans. So instead of having a voice in the singular, we have it in plural now. And as I was mentioning, it aims at supporting rural African with information so that they are able to test and implement practices they consider beneficial for their families and communities. So here we are acting. We do understand that the world is changing and rural African must also change if they want to survive and thrive in their activities. With these standards, we can see that there are beneficial practices that many people of our listeners may want to apply. In this regard, we produce programs that support listeners so that when they work through challenges, they are able to tackle them with something different and be able to potentially overcoming them. So in this regard, we try to celebrate as well their successes. This is why we have decided to add this letter to the voice standard as we used to know it. Obviously speaking, with these changes, we are using new tools so that people can learn more and use better the tools we are proposing to them. Some of you might have seen in the past posters in your radio stations on how you can use the voices standard. But right now, we have decided to provide you with a new poster. In this regard, if you want to use this poster, please do not hesitate to contact us. Beside the voice number standards, we also offer an online self-guided modules. And these self-guided modules last 30 minutes at least. If you want to register to take these modules, you just have to send a message to radio.farmradio.org. And you will be thus able to register for this self-guided module. And you will also be able to get the poster we are proposing to you. So let's go through the self-guided module so that you can have more details. I will try to log in to this module page. As you can see it on my screen, you have the features of this self-guided module. I started by logging into my account. I will go now to my course feature. And when you register for some courses, you will have a list of topics which we are addressing in these courses. But you can still have the opportunity to register for other courses which are not included here. We will go first through the voice standard course. And as you can see, we have the poster which is available and you can download it and print it for your radio station. Then, if you need some details, you just have to click on the button for the voice standard. I won't go through all of them, but I just want to give you an overview of these standards. We have an introduction with an overview of the standards. Then we have more deeper details on the courses to show you how it is functioning. Then you have the standard themselves. And then you can go into details for each letter to see what it implies. You do have some explanation to show you when you can use the standards, you have some feedback, etc. I won't go further, but allow me to go quickly to the course in English for those who are following us in English. Here too, you have the poster, you have a module per se. And at this time, you will go through the various letters of the norms. Let's start by the introduction. Then you have the short explanation of the courses, etc. And you will go deeper into the standards. You can also see that our modules are interactive. You also have some quizzes to assess your knowledge. And in this regard, if you need to have more information on the voices number, please send us a message to the address you are having on the screen right now. You also have the capacity to get into the self-guided module. The next thing we are going to see for the voices numbers, maybe you know our BH2 we are producing for the radio broadcasters. We will have a new one. This should be read, and with this document, you will have more details on the voices standards. And as soon as this document is ready, we will share it with all of you in the WhatsApp groups on the website. This will help you have access to this document for your knowledge improvement. So I give you the floor, Martin. Thanks a lot, Sylvie, for this rich content you shared with us. For those who are just joining us, welcome to all of you, and feel at ease because we are a family at FRI. And as Sylvie were mentioning it, we went from voice standards to voices standards. So for all those who are following us, this is to help you be heard and make yourself heard.
Tu es une voix et tu es la voix.
So for your communities, you are the voice of your community, and you can help your community make herself heard. So now we will have a small discussion with two radio broadcasters, including one from Mali and another from Uganda. For some connectivity issues, we haven't been able to reach out the broadcaster from Mali, but we have with us the broadcaster from Uganda, and I will have a small interview with him. If you allow me, I will switch language so that we can discuss with our broadcaster from Uganda.
So I want to welcome Mr. Ayotti from Radio Passes Uganda. Hi, Mr. Ayotti, are you there? Hi, Mr. Ayotti. Joel, are you there, please? Hi, Maouli, je n'arrive pas à voir notre radiodiffuseur.
Mauli, I'm not able to get in touch with our radio broadcaster. If Mr. Ayotti is able to hear us, please switch on your mic so that we can start our interview. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Joel. I see him connected, but his mic is off. Can you open your mic? Okay, your mic is open. Now you can speak.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Joel. Good afternoon. Now we can get your voice clearly. Welcome to this webinar once again.
Yes, thank you so much, Madame Martine.
Yes, yeah, you are welcome, Joel. And we are here to have a brief discussion about voices. And the first question I would like to ask you is, how did you become acquainted with the voice standards?
I became acquainted with the voice when I had a face-to-face training on how I could improve my farmers program on radio. So there was a training that I attended organized by Farm Radio here in Uganda. We were based at that was in Ntinda in a hotel called Eureka. So that was when I got to learn more about voice standards. But before that, we were sent some link. In this, we were able to learn more about voice standards through the self-guided modules, for which I actually got a certificate for participating in the self-guided modules. We had about 12 different questions that we were supposed to respond to. I really did my best in it. So that was how I got acquainted to the voice standards.
Okay, thank you. And could you provide a specific instance to illustrate how the voices standard assists you in creating an agricultural radio program that is beneficial, engaging, and motivating for farmers?
Madame Martin, you know that the voice standards has actually made me able to value my small-scale farmers as in both women and men, and then also children at large. Because in this, I was in a position to respect whatever the farmers do. Be it the small-scale farming they do, be it large-scale, I was actually in position to take them just the way they are. Because they really do a lot in the agricultural industry. First of all, whatever they do, it provides a food for them. And then it also provides a food for the last consumer. That means by taking their products to the market to feed many people who may not be in a position to grow some of this food stuff. And then the other thing is that it also helped me to present the program in the most simplest language spoken by my farmers.
Okay.
I mean, those are my audience. It will be very difficult if I use a language that they may not be in position to understand. So through voice standards, I was in position to use the simplest language and the simplest words, so that the last farmer there in the village should be able to understand what I'm communicating to them. And then the other thing is that I also got acquainted with interview skills through the voice standards, especially asking open-ended questions to ensure that these farmers are able to express themselves into details. Yeah, I give them time to express themselves, the challenges they have been facing, how they have been overcoming them, whether they have been receiving extension services from the sub-county or district, something like that. And then there are quite many. The other thing is also that voice standards, they helped me to be able to give farmers an opportunity to speak and to be heard in my program, because each time I go to the field to record farmers, it is really very easy for me to give them that opportunity to express what they have been going through. You know, in most cases where I'm in the northwestern part of Uganda, where you'll find that most farmers do not receive extension services.
Okay.
Yeah, for that reason, each time I give them the opportunity to speak to the media, it helps them to express some of the challenges that they have been going through. So for that reason, I feel both female and male, they have really discussed whatever has been affecting them with a lot of confidence.
Okay.
Yes. And then something about the voice standards is that it also, the voice standards made me to create and provide farmers with information of their interest that they needed at the right time. Because some of the informations I give to these farmers, it is based on the season in which we are in. Yes, so that is how I've been dealing with these farmers. And then I was also able to produce and create a consistent and convenient program for them, because the Farm Talk program comes every Saturday. It is really convenient to them. You're already aware that every Saturday and every Fridays, farmers program is coming, and I work hand in hand with my program producer, and then also I work hand in hand with some of my colleagues, staff with whom we do have on air programs. So we produce drop-ins, as in we record prominent people in the community. They speak about it. They speak about these farm programs. We play them on air. We also have presenter mentions that presenter mentions. We also have promos that play across all the programs from morning up to evening and late night shows. They play in a way that, you know, people have different programs of their interest.
Yeah.
That means if the presenters who present morning shows, if they talk about the farmers program that comes every Fridays, people who always follow the morning show, they will get to know about what will happen on Friday. And the same thing happens to the presenters who go on air during the day and then also at night, so that many people will be expecting this program every Fridays from 4 to 5. So that is how voice standards really helped me to produce a program which is suitable for farmers, and then also to those who have not been listening to this program, they can also join them as well. And then I've also learned that from voice standards, I learned that programs that you create for farmers, they should also be entertaining. They should entertain them, and it should be memorable to them in a way that if they have the opportunity to move out and they interact with their friends, they should be in a position to talk about the very program they did listen to from radio parties. I don't know if my time is up. You will guide me where necessary.
Okay, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Joel. I would like to ask you a last question. It's true that we are not able to join Madame Adizatu Mohammed from the regional broadcaster house of Mali television now because of some internet issue. But I would like to know, now you have talked on the perspective of the broadcaster, do you sometimes have feedback from the farmers? What did they say when they meet you in the community? Like, Joel, you have changed your program at Reach, or are they happy? Did they sometimes give you some yam to thank you? I don't know. I want to have some feedback that you have gotten from farmers, yes.
All right, the feedback has really been so massive.
Yeah.
As I talk right now, our Uliza poll has been down. That is how our farmers have been giving us a feedback. Like, they record their voices, we download them, we also play them. And each time I read out these numbers, they always keep calling it time and again to give us their feedbacks. But right now, as I talk, the Uliza poll number is down, but instead they use my personal number to get connected to me, because there are days when we're on air presenting the farm radio program, the time may not be enough for them to give their feedback, or sometimes the line will be too busy. Instead, they use my personal account to send their messages. They use my personal account to share their feelings about what they should have said on air. So that is how they have been. And each time I announce that I'm going to this village to record farmers, they are always expecting me. If I delay, they keep calling me. What is happening? Why are you not coming to record us? Because each time they hear that Joel is coming to Logri sub-county, for instance, because I have my farmers groups in all the parishes, I have them, I meet them at the sub-county headquarters. Each time I tell them that I'm coming, they are always expectant about this. The feedback has really been massive. How I wish, Madame Martin, you were here, you could witness this. Each time I go to the field, in fact, farmers, they pack me with a lot of food stuff.
Thank you so much, Joel, for your rich experience. And for those who are following us, you understand that our work at Farm Radio International is all about the community, and it's all about the development of the community. That's why we are doing communication for development Farm Radio at Farm Radio International through radios. So I'm going to proceed with Sylvie. I hope that as the webinar is going on, we'll be able to have the radio broadcaster from Mali, and we'll be able to answer few questions. So I will now hand over to Sylvie, who is going to tell us more about lexicon. Hi, Sylvie.
Hello, thank you. And actually, before I begin talking about the lexicon, I will just jump over to, and I'm realizing je ne parle pas la bonne langue. Un instant. Je vais changer de langue. Désolée. Quand j'entends une langue, mon cerveau reste dans cette langue-là. Mais juste avant de...
Before proceeding to the next topic, I would ask for Doug to intervene on a project we worked on In fact, Doug is the one who initiated the idea of a lexicon. So, Doug, you have a floor to give us an overview of how we came up with the idea of a lexicon. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Sylvie. Can everybody
Merci.
hear? Can I be heard? Everybody hears me?
Oui.
Okay, I will start it. The lexicon, we began to realize that radio is like any other medium, whether it's radio or television or just talking face to face or a movie or whatever. It has its own specific tools. Every medium has, and each tool has a name and a definition and a purpose. And so what we decided to do was to put together a lexicon or a dictionary of all of the tools that radio uses. Provide a name for the tool, just describe it, define it, and in many cases, provide an example of how to use that particular tool. One of the reasons we did it is because people were using the name of a tool in very different ways, and we wanted to provide a common understanding that for each tool. And there was also the problem that some tools have different meanings. If you say dead air in English, that could mean that the transmitter is down, or it could mean that there is a pause in for effect. That somebody has, but there's dead air. It sounds like dead air on the radio. So we put this together, and I think it's a very useful tool for any broadcaster, not only to look up when they hear a new term, but also to go through the whole lexicon. A broadcaster will find many tools that they may not be using yet, and they'll say, "Oh, that's something I could use on my program." So, the lexicon is a very good tool to look up a word that you haven't used before, or it's a good training document to learn about tools that you might use in the future. And while we were writing this, we didn't find another broadcasting organization in the world that has a lexicon or a dictionary of all the radio production tools. So we're pretty pleased to have this. Over to you, Sylvie.
Sylvie, peut-être avant que tu ne reprennes la parole, je voudrais rappeler.
Sylvie, before you take the floor again, I would like to remind all those who are with us today that they can send us their question to the question room. And after the presentation, we will have 20 to 25 minutes to discuss your concerns and your questions. So you also have the room where we can have your comments and other questions. So Sylvie, you have the floor now. Thank you. So this is a good reminder, and thanks, Doug. I don't think that this kind of tool exists already, because what we have tried to do is to combine some interesting terms, and in case for those who want to know what is a lexicon is a document which contains in an alphabetical order a vocabulary related to a specific subject. So for the lexicon we developed, this is a document with over 200 production terms, which are commonly used for radio programs production. So beside these terms which are commonly used in the radio area, we also have other terms which we use mainly at Farm Radio International. These lexicon were able to be developed with a contribution of many stakeholders, including broadcasters from Canada, Africa. We also required some specialists to provide us with other details. This lexicon is the fruit of a great collaboration between Canadian and African broadcasters. The purpose of this lexicon is to provide guidance beside the definitions, and also this lexicon will allow broadcaster or other people who will be using it to have a clear idea of what we mean by the terms we use. This also will help rural African broadcasters who are interested in improving their service to listeners. I will share with you some example of this lexicon. We have some radio terms. I won't go through the definitions, but as you can see on the screen, we have some examples and some tips on how to use these terms. For the run sheet, specifically speaking, you have other terms which can be used with the term run sheet, and maybe some of you use this term instead of using run sheet. These terms are approved and accepted, and you may find them in the lexicon. So in English, specifically speaking, for run sheet, many people will use other terms. And you have a definition of what is a run sheet. This is for the radio terminology. For those who collaborated with us as part of some projects, or who are reading some articles or news on our website, I should mention that FRI has specific terms for the terms it is applying as part of its activities. This is why you will see some of these terms we are adding in this lexicon. You have, for example, her voice on her. This is an approach which promotes the participation of women in radio programs, and also this approach encourage discussions on specific topics which we are addressing as part of our radio programs. We also have the cooking show. This is a show for women or people who would like to improve the nutritional part of the food they are serving to their families. So in this lexicon, you will have radio terms, but also radio terms used at FRI and that you are currently using even when you are not collaborating with us in our project. To conclude, I will say that we also have in this lexicon some terms which are related to gender equality in inclusion. And these concepts are very valued at FRI because we want to make sure that we are complying with this concept throughout all of our activities and operations. As you can see on the screen, For some terms we are using as part of our gender equality and inclusion approach, you have, for example, inclusion or empowerment. Throughout all the lexicon, with the alphabetical order, you will see all the required terms you might be using for your work. This lexicon is available on our website at the link you are seeing on the screen. Let me show you the lexicon when you open the document on the website. I hope that many of you are able to recognize what you are currently seeing on the screen, and you will see how the terms are presented in an alphabetical order. Sometimes you will have a tip on how to use the term, and throughout all the end of the document, you will have all the terms we have included in the lexicon, and you have over 200 terms. So what we have tried to do is to make sure we have the radio terms, but also terms which are related to the approaches and practices we are using at FRI. So, briefly speaking, this is what I wanted to share with you today. Thanks, Marcine. I give you the floor. Thanks to all of you, and thanks for this rich content you shared with us. I already have some questions here.
So I already have a few questions here. I have a question, so we are going to go to the Q&A session, and there is someone asking, does the lexicon take into account terms related to artificial intelligence in the world of the press? If yes, which? And CV, I'm giving you back the mic, and the response is no. Quite simple. We have not added terms for artificial intelligence, but we can, because the voices standards have changed, and so of course the lexicon will change, and we will add terms with time, but for now there is no terms for artificial intelligence. I am going to take the question from Evariste in Mali, that is asking, who says, I think it's a comment, it says, thank you for this theme. It will also help us avoid the misuse of words in our productions, and this is important to produce in several local languages. This is a recommendation maybe from her. And there is a question from Abubakar Munkaila. Do you have tools to measure the reach and resonance of broadcast programs? So FRI has a process where in which we can do some assumptions on the audience, how many people are listening to us, etc., etc. It's a paying service. If it's something that a radio station that is not implied in committed to a project of FRI, then if it's something that you're interested about, you can communicate directly with us and ask the question and see if we can give you some details, all the implications of that type of work.
Okay. Thank you, Sylvie. J'ai changé de langue. I've switched. to English now, to take this question of Emmanuel Ludolo from Uganda, who say, saying that he would like to know the cost of enrolling for the courses on Farm Radio website. Also, to what extent is Farm Radio engaged with farmers?
So I will also switch languages. So the courses, either the self-guided modules or the longer e-course, which is it lasts several weeks, is free. So there's no cost to participating or enrolling in our self-guided modules or the e-course. You simply have to go to send a message to radio@farmradio.org and ask to register to the self-guided modules, and they will send you a message giving you your username and a temporary password, and you will be able to go on the website and do the courses for free. I want to specify the e-course, the longer course, is only offered periodically. So we have one coming up at the beginning of October. And so if any of you want to register for the e-course, now is the time to register for that. It's a bit of a bigger commitment. So it means that it will require more time. But it is a very full and interesting course, and only comes, every once in a while. Otherwise, you're free to, register to the self-guided modules that are available all the time. So a little bit different for the two approaches, but they're available for free. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sylvie. You are not going to rest so soon. We have other questions. And one I'm going to read now is from Alberto Dixon from Echo Radio Rural Liberia. River says precisely. He said, we are into cassava processing, but what I want to understand is how do I get to my audience, most especially to those of them that are not literate, Sylvie?
Well, that's the beauty of radio, is that you don't have to be literate to listen and participate in a radio program. So for you, if you want more information on the subject matter that you are presenting radio programs in, you can go to our site at farmradio.fm, and I will just bring that up again for you to see. Where's my email? Hey, where did it go? Oh, here it is. So if you just go, not the training, but farmradio.fm will give you access to all kinds of resources, information on really a lot of different topics, on farming, on health, on education, all kinds of different terminology. So for you as the broadcaster, you are able to have a resource of information that is accurate. And then from there, encouraging your audiences to gather together. So if you have the ability to create listening groups, they can possibly, more easily come together with a radio set, listen to the radio programs. And even if you have a feedback mechanism using your mobile phones, they can together, if they have a mobile phone, call, leave a message, or you can use the missed call method. You call one number if it's a yes, call another number if it's a no, and get feedback in that way. But that's truly the beauty of radio, is that you don't need to be literate to listen and participate, call in and give feedback. Thank you.
Our people of Ghana are here, and we have a question from Abdul Karim Bako. He said, I would like to know the form in which the entertainment between a show host and farmers should be.
Oh, can you repeat that question, please?
He is saying, I would like to know the form in which I imagine the format in which the entertainment between a show host and farmers should be.
I wish that I could see the question. I will try to answer, and I hope this is what you're looking for. But part of the Voices standards is that programs are engaging. Another word that we can use is entertaining. Because you could do all of the other letters in Voices. You could value your listener, give good information, have the program on the air at the right time, on the right day. But if your show is not interesting, engaging to listen to, people will tune out. They will, if it's boring, they will just turn the radio off and go to another program. So what you need to think about when you're producing your radio program is, how do I make it engaging? So do I have good interviews that are informative? But do I also have storytelling in the sense of interviews that tell a person's story, that go and reach that personal element for people so that they can connect with the people that are, presented on the radio program? Do you have formats like Vox Pops, where you're going out and asking people in communities to share their opinions and their thoughts on perhaps a bit more of a controversial theme or topic? And so when you're putting your radio program together, you want to think about, well, what kinds of formats am I putting into the radio program? The other thing you want to think about is the overall design of your radio program. So even though people, humans, we like variety, but we also like to know that things are, to a certain extent, predictable. And so in the overall design of your radio program, if you have, for example, weather information in your radio program, you want to make sure that the weather information is given at the same time in your program. So if it's at 7:15, you want to make sure that your weather information is always around 7:15. so that people are comfortable and they can kind of settle into your radio program. So your overall design should be consistent, but your formats, so the interviews or the Vox Pop, things like that, you can play with and be creative when you're producing the individual episodes. And that will really combine the two elements that an audience needs to feel comfortable, but to be entertained in their listening, in their listening experience. So I hope that answers your question.
I think you said it right, Sylvie, and I think it answers the question of our broadcaster from Ghana. And if Abdul Karim is getting us or got all the answer you gave, he can just send a thumbs up in the discussion box to let us know that it's okay for him. And yes, we can get back to him if the answer is not complete or if he needs more details. Andrew Shanda of Zambia is asking if we have had any training in Zambia yet.
There have been some trainings in Zambia in the context of specific projects that we have had. In the next, I want to say 6 months, there will be an opportunity for radio stations to participate in one of our projects with an approach that we call a script plus. And that is led by the networking team at Farm Radio. So you will receive information about this opportunity in the WhatsApp groups that you are part of with Farm Radio, and that will that opportunity will also give you an opportunity for some training. And otherwise, the online modules, the online discussions that happen in the context of different projects, when you see those announcements come up in your WhatsApp groups, these are training opportunities for you. So feel free to, join in. You're also welcome if you want to know perhaps what's coming up in your WhatsApp groups. Feel free to ask the question, is there anything coming up that I should be joining? And the facilitator of your WhatsApp group will be able to get that information for you and let you know. And of course, if it's in the WhatsApp group, it means that it's beneficial to the other members of the group as well. I think perhaps Martine's connectivity is having some issues. So maybe I can answer, if someone can send me a direct message with a question, I can take it in the chat and I'll be able to answer to the group. Oh, Martine, you're back. There we go.
Okay, sorry, I had some issue with my connection. I was just telling Monica Nyele from Kenya to feel at home. She said she's very much interested in Farm Radio International, but it's like there are no Kenyan. Stay tuned, be connected. I think Katie can add our email address where we can keep in touch with you. Monica Nyele, you are already welcome to this webinar. and I'm sure you feel at home and very comfortable after the discussion we have with you on our work in Kenya and in East Africa in general.
There might be a few members from Kenya because we have had projects in Kenya in the past. And so in the overall network, in the WhatsApp groups, there may be a few. There may be a few of you. So yes, please, feel very welcome, and be sure to say hello in your WhatsApp group, and you might have some colleagues say hello back.
And if there are some Kenya that are also following this webinar, please send a message in the discussion box so that Monica should know that you also are here with us. Mohamedi Isa is asking another question, Sylvie, very pertinent question. He's saying we are saving rural farmers, but there are some farmers that are living in town due to the town movement, and some of them cannot access agricultural radio program. How can we touch this group? Hello?
Donc,
So I changed a language to give the opportunity to everyone to listen from one language or the other. And so for the broadcasters, for your audience, it depends on your radio station. There are some radio stations that are in places, or for example in town, if you want to say it like that, and it's very possible that these radio stations produce radio programs for development. And so all of these ideas that we offer, all the resources and everything, especially the voices standards, but also resources on different themes, or also the resources, the training resources, so the guides, all of these are written with the idea to really serve rural population, but they can also be, when we read them, you can also imagine how to adapt or adjust the knowledge that you are getting to a context that is a little bit more urban. Of course, the themes or the needs of your um, audience can be different. There are some resources, there are themes in all the resources that are available with FRI. There are some themes that are for urban audience, but we even know that in agriculture, people maybe they are going to live in town, but then go to work in their communities or with their families. So it really depends on your radio station, what is the size in terms where is your radio station broadcasting, and then you can see, for example, I have in my radio station, there is a certain percentage of the audience that is in regions that are a bit more urban. And so I have to do some research to make sure that my themes or my interviews with experts are appropriate for that audience. So of course, it's your choice with that information. You can do some research in our website to get all that information. Also, the people that you are inviting in the studio, the experts on the different themes, they you also need to choose people that have knowledge
Mm.
on the themes that on themes that are interesting for urban people. So there are many different ways to reach those people, but basically, it's if you work at a radio station, it's really based on on the place where the area that where you are broadcasting.
Okay. I'm going to read two reaction before taking the last question from YGFM radio station in Zambia. They say they implemented a project called Script Plus, and it was really an amazing experience, especially on the availability on the resources, which included material adaptation. And another feedback is from Abdul Karim Bako. Sylvie, he's saying thank you so much because you have answered his question. And besides it, we have another question. Somebody, Max Monkombwe, who want to learn more about the upcoming project on Script Plus. And another anonymous participant who is saying that he would like to know the way or kind of entertainment that should be between a show host and a farmer, either in the studio or in the farmer field. I think Sylvie already answered that question. Maybe for these two, Sylvie will just round up and give a last speech. Over to you, Sylvie.
Donc, plus d'informations pour les
So more information for Script Plus. Stay tuned for on the WhatsApp groups, on your WhatsApp groups, because right now I don't have dates, exact dates. So just stay tuned of the information shared on your WhatsApp group. For Script Plus will be done in some specific countries, but there is a big variety. So in some countries, it's maybe not going to happen. For the ones that are used to the project, funders, you know that for at sometimes there are some countries or regions that are engaged, and other times it's other countries, other regions. So just stay tuned in your WhatsApp groups, and the moderators will communicate with information. However, it's not going to be tomorrow or in the next weeks. It's going to be in a maybe not in a long-term future, but in a few months. So be rest assured that when the time will come, the information will be shared. Now, I'm just going to come back quickly on everything that is. What is the word that you used in English? What type of entertainment? So it is not necessarily we can add music in a radio program. It can be a panel. It can be interviews or call in, or even a radio theater drama, where we can do some quiz or competitions. So there are many ways where we can add elements that are engaging, that really bring us to have some entertainment, but all of those things have to be done with the objective that we are doing radio programs for development. So it's not just a radio program of every day where we do it, we listen to music and we call just to send some wishes. It's not entertainment in that way. It's really to have radio programs that are engaging, but also that have a specific objective, and that objective is the communication for development. So in the voices standards is always to the improvement of good practices or better practices. So it's really with that objective to do a communication for development, for so that the person and their family and their community, they have a more prosperous life, that improve a little bit, whether it is their garden or their family or the education of their children, etc. So when we think about that idea to be engaging, to be that people are going to remember us, to have entertainment, is really in that optic, in with that vision in mind. And so it's really to explore and also what does the audience like, what do you want to hear, what you like, but really to bring together education, information, together with this idea to be engaging and to have radio programs that are interesting to listen to. Thank you very much, Sylvie. I hope that we are not too tired. We have 10 minutes left, and now we are going to introduce Catherine, who is going to do a little promo online on how to improve the radio programs for development. I see there is a lot of people asking what type of radio programs to do for the farmers, but Katie is going to give us a little idea of the promo online, and then we will come back with Doug for closing words.
Thank you very much. Yes, I just wanted to promote our upcoming e-course, the Radio for Development e-course. If you haven't already signed up, please sign up now. The course starts October 2nd. There's still time to sign up, but please do that as soon as possible. Go to Barzawire to find it in the opportunity section, and I've just put that URL in the chat for Barzawire. So this will be a 10-week online learning about how to either improve your radio program or to create a radio program that serves a rural audience. And I'll just do a quick pitch for another opportunity coming up very soon. If you've been involved with Farm Radio for a while, you'll be familiar with our Farm Radio Awards. As Martine mentioned at the beginning, on World Radio Day, we celebrate the winners of the Farm Radio Awards, and that application period will open at the end of September. So keep an eye out on Barzawire and your emails for the application forms for the 2 awards that Farm Radio offers, and we encourage you to apply. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Katie. Juste un petit rappel pour dire que, ou alors une petite
Thanks a
note.
lot, Katie. Just a reminder that we want to thanks all the team who have made it possible for this webinar to be held. We want to thank Mauli, Busi, and Katie, David, and thanks to all of you and Sylvie for all those who work behind to help us have this webinar. And at FRY, we are working on team every day. Before delaying, I will give the floor to Doug for the closing remark. I think we have spent all the time we were allocated to discuss and share around this thematic today. So Doug, you have the floor. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Martine. It's been very exciting for me because I have been away from farm radio now for 2 years. And before that, it was my lifeblood for 20 years. And it's exciting on this call to hear all the questions people were asking from all over Africa, showing your curiosity, your interest in making better programming for your listeners, learning from me about WhatsApp groups. There were no such things when I was involved in farm radio. So I've got, I want to learn about WhatsApp groups, and I'll go to the website and find that. What I hear on this call is all about change and predictability. Radio has to embrace both. You have to have predictability because people want regular programming, but within that predictability, you want to help farmers make change that will help them improve their families' lives. So keep those two values close to your heart, the need for that reliability and predictability. Radio is your friend. You know what you get from your friend, but at the same time, keep challenging people with change. Thank you for letting me back into the Farm Radio family to have a few words. I wish you all well. I am so excited and so impressed by what you are all doing. Thank you.
Merci, Doug. Merci, Sylvie.
Thanks a lot, Doug. Thanks to Sylvie. Thanks to Katie. Thanks to Mauli, to David. And thanks to all of you, the participants from Mali, Uganda, Kenya, and DRC. And you may see that FRY is everywhere and we are coming to you. And very soon you will see us and we will be doing great things together. And I want to thank DRC people who were with us today. Please stay tuned and we will be following up with you on Facebook and our WhatsApp groups. Thanks to all of you. And the story will keep in mind that on September 12th, FRY have made a further step regarding the evolution through the voice standards. And we know we will have artificial intelligence. Maybe we'll be adding something regarding this area to our lexicon. Things are evolving very quickly, and I want to thank all of you for having been here today with us, and have a nice day for those who are starting their day, and have a nice end of day wherever you are. Thank you and see you soon.
Merci, Kofi. Merci, Brenda. Merci. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Esther. Thank you, Dr. Rhoda. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Abdul Nassif. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much.